Thank you, devotees, for joining. We can get started. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsta हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे So, reading from one point 2.8, I can read. Uh, 1.25. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी निगमकल्पतरुर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनं प्रणामदुःखशमनं तं नमामि हरिं परम्. So I'm sharing my screen. It's a very oft quoted shloka, devotees. So can repeat after me. धर्मस्वनुष्ठितः पुंसाम्
धर्मस्व अनुष्ठिता पुंसाम्
विश्वक्सेन कथासु यः
विक्ष्वक्सेन कदासु याः
नोत्पादयेत् यदि रतिम्
नोत्पादयत्यदि रतिम्
श्रम एव हि केवलम्.
श्रम एव हि केवलम्.
Someone want to read?
धर्म स्वानुष्ठिता पुंसाम् Dharmasvanustat pumsam
Vishvaksena katasuyaha
Vishvaksena kadasuya
notpadayed yadiratim
Notpadayat yadiratim
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Shrama yeva hi kevalam.
Dharmasvanushtita pumsam
Dharmasvanushtita pumsam
Vishvaksena katasuyah
Vishvaksena kadasuya
Notpadayet yadiratim
Notpadayat yadiratim
Shrama eva hi kevalam.
Shrama yeva hi kevalam.
Okay. Dharmaha,
Dharmaha.
Maha.
occupation.
Occupation.
Svanushtitaha.
Svanustitaha.
Or it's executed in terms of one's own position.
Executed in terms of one's own position.
Pumsam,
Pumsam
of humankind.
of humankind.
Vishwaksena,
Vishvaksena.
the personality of Godhead, plenary portion.
The personality of Godhead, plenary portion.
Kathasu,
Kathasu.
message of
In the message of
Yaha,
Yaha.
what is
What is?
What is
Na.
not.
not?
Padayet,
Upadayet.
produce.
Thus produce.
Yadi,
Yadi. If. Ratim.
attraction.
Attraction.
Shramaha,
Shramaha.
useless labor.
Useless labor.
Eva,
Eva.
he,
He.
certain.
Certainly. Kevalam.
Kevalam.
Entirely.
Entirely.
Translation and purport by Joan Grace. Bhaiya Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. Purport: there are different occupational activities in terms of man's different conceptions of life. The gross materialist who cannot see anything beyond the gross material body, there is nothing beyond the senses. Therefore, his occupational activities are limited to concentrated and extended selfishness. Concentrated selfishness centers around the personal body. This is generally seen amongst the lower animals. Extended selfishness is manifested in human society and centers around family, society, community, nation, and world with a view to gross bodily comfort. Above these gross materialists are the mental speculators who hover aloft in the mental spheres, and their occupational duties involve making poetry and philosophy or propagating some ism with the same aim of selfishness linked to the body and the mind. But above the body and the mind is a dormant spirit soul whose absence from the body makes the whole null and void. But less intelligent people have no information of the needs of the spirit soul. Because foolish people have no information of the soul and how it is beyond the purview of the body and the mind, they are not satisfied in the performance of their occupational duties. The question of the satisfaction of the self is raised herein. The self is beyond the gross body and subtle mind, is the potent active principle of the body and the mind without knowing the need of the dormant soul. One cannot be happy simply with the emolument of the body and the mind. The body and the mind are but superfluous coverings of the spirit soul. The spirit soul's needs must be fulfilled. Simply by cleansing the cage of the bird, one does not satisfy the bird. One must actually know the needs of the bird himself. The need of the spirit soul is that he wants to get out of the limited sphere of material bondage and fulfill his desire for complete freedom. He wants to get out of the covered walls of the greater universe. He wants to see the free light and the spirit. That complete freedom is achieved when he meets the complete spirit, the personality of Godhead. There is dormant affection for God within everyone. Spiritual existence is manifested through the gross body and the mind in the form of perfected affection for gross and subtle matter. Therefore, we have to engage ourselves in occupational engagements that will evoke our divine consciousness. This is possible only by hearing and chanting the divine activity, which does not head herein to be simply a waste of time. This is because occupational duties, whatever ism they may belong to, cannot give liberation to the soul. Even the activities of the salvationists are considered to be useless because of their failure to pick up the fountainhead of all liberties. Interesting. The gross materialist can practically see that this material gain is limited only to time and space, either in this material world or in the other. When he goes up to Swargalokam, he will find no permanent abode for his anchoring soul. The anchoring soul must be satisfied by the perfect scientific process of perfect devotional service. Mukham karoti vachalam pandum nangite nikripadam mande Shri Vrindinatarinam Paramanadamadham Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Shri Harihi Tat Shri. So, happy to be serving Bhagavatam in front of all of you, great devotees, after some time. This verse is one of the most oft-quoted verses by Srila Prabhupada. All the verses in this chapter, to be very honest, so I'm very happy devotees are speaking from this verses. I heard His Grace Vikram Prabhu's talk last week. Very, very nice. He spoke very nicely. So I'll try to do some justice if you all bless me. And let us break this down as much as we can. Dharmaha swanushtitaha. Swanushtitaha pumsam. So Prabhupada translates it very interestingly. He translates dharma as occupational duty. That which occupies me. That which engages me. So Prabhupada translates it like that very nicely. Dharmaha swanushtitaha pumsam. If I observe some dharma, that dharma is of three natures. There are three types of dharma. Nitya, whatever is to be done daily. And second is naimittika. Naimittika means nimitta. Nimitta matra means like based on a certain situation, you do it. Right? As an instrument, you do it. Right? Like Krishna says, naimittta matra. Of course, that has got a different meaning. But nimitta karma means that which is done on occasionally, like you do shraddha, you do some samskara, based on some smritis. They are naimittika. There are some nitya karma. Nitya karma is, for instance, one has to do Brahma Yajnam every day, one has to do Sandhya Vandana Upasanam, one has to do Agnishthyomam. There are many karmas that are prescribed for a Brahmana, prescribed for a Kshatriya, prescribed for a Vaishya. In this way, there is Nitya and Naimittika, and there is also Kamya karma. Now, so Shukadeva Goswami, Suta Goswami is hitting on the heart of the matter. Is basically saying dharmaha swanushtitaha. If one is performing some anushtanam. Anushtana means observances, that which occupies him. Pumsam vishwaksena kathasu yaha. That dharma. In this verse, there is a focus on at dharma, that which sustains, which occupies someone. That dharma is the content of this verse. Okay, who is the hero of this verse? That dharma. Dharma swanushtitaha pumsam, and that is being practiced by this pumsam. this person who's stuck in this material world, Vishwaksena Kathasu Yaha, that dharma which has got some relationship with that Vishwaksena Katha. Actually, the relationship between dharma and Vishwaksena Katha, which is the Katha, the beautiful pastimes of the Lord, should be very favorable. But yadi, if in case he, in actually, the acharyas are giving a lot of explanation to he, this word, the word that we are talking about, Shrama eva hi kevalam, and yaha, both these verses are very important. So Vishwaksena Kathasu yaha, yaha is for that person. That dharma, I'm sorry, that dharma, Vishwaksena Kathasu yaha, that dharma, notpadayet. So there is this dharma, it is supposed to produce gradually Vishwaksena Kathasu Ruchi. Vishwaksena Kathasu Rati. Ratin. Kathasu. Kathasu means many kathas. It is plural. Vishwaksena Kathasu. For that Vishwaksena Katha, pastimes of the Lord, ultimately one's attachment to Krishna is mature. When chanting of the holy name naturally matures into meditation on the pastimes of the Lord. So one is able to meditate on these pastimes, one is able to relish these pastimes. How Krishna killed different demons, how Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna is doing Srishti in the form of his plenary expansions, how Krishna is maintaining everything, how Krishna is actually performing different pastimes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this katha, I should have Rati. I should have Rati. And that dharma should eventually give rise to Rati. But notpadayad yadi, if in case that doesn't happen, then that is very bad. That shouldn't be the case. Is it not? It is gradually meant to give you that. That is the purpose of everything that is there as dharma. But yadi ratim, if it is not producing, shramaha. Shramaha means that which is completely useless. There is a very nice verse in this connection. Shreya Shritim. You can go to maybe share another verse. You can see my tab alone or you can see my whole window.
We can see your window, Prabhuji.
Okay, I'm typing something. Can you see
Yes,
it or
Prabhuji.
no?
Yes, Prabhuji. You're typing 10:14:4.
Okay, good. So this is a very nice verse, very similar verse. Shreya Shritim Bhakti Mudasyate Vibho Klishyanti ye Kevala Bhota Labdaye Tesham Asau Kleshara Eva Shishyate Na Anyad Yatha Stula Tushava Ghatina. Shreya Shritim. There is a best path. What is the best path? Bhakti. What is the best path? Shreya Shritim. The best path is Bhakti. Udasya, he is rejecting it. Hey Vibho, hey my dear Lord. If that person is rejecting Klishyanti, but instead of taking this Bhakti, Shreya Shritim, Bhaktim Udasya, he is giving the Bhakti, but what is he taking? Klishyanti is getting trapped in what? Kevala Bodha Labdhaye. Kevala Jnanam, Atma Jnanam, Advaita Jnanam. Kevala Bodha Labdhaye. If he is trained in that Bodha Labdhaye, Tesham, for that people, Asau, Kleshalaha Eva Shishyate, Na Anyat Yata Sthula Tusha. Our path of karma, ajnana, what is the use? I simply attain suffering and nothing else. They are like those people who simply beat the empty husks. What is the purpose of a temple? The purpose of the temple is to reveal the all beautiful deity. What is the purpose of karma? Karma is like the big architecture that you see outside the temple. Very nice. Jnana is the beautiful fragrance that you get when you enter the temple, all the flowers, all the prasadams, fragrance, and all the good feeling you get when you go inside. The magnificence when you see out from outside the temple is karma marga, like very nice. There are a lot of details. There is a lot of Veda mantram, there is Ghanam, there is this, there is that. It sounds very sweet. Ghanaparayanam, very nice. It sounds very nice. This is like just like when you see the outside of the temple, it's very nice. And when you go inside the temple, there are a lot of beautiful smells of the roses, and all of this is coming. But after all this fuss, when someone says there is no deity inside the temple, then how will you feel? Like, then there is no point of the temple. All that is meant to lead us into the beautiful Lord who's playing upon the beautiful flute and then giving us darshan. Is it not? Similarly, someone is cultivating rice, and when you are beating rice, the purpose of beating the rice is to take out the husk so that you can get some rice and offer it to the Lord. But if someone is beating the empty husk, then what is the point? Madhvacharya gave another example. Madhvacharya said, water that is protected inside. Outside of that coconut shell is jnana, and the biggest shell outside that is karma. The sweet water that you see inside is bhakti. The purpose of all this is to introduce that person to the sweetest path. Why is it so sweet? Because it introduces to the Lord, who is very sweet. He is very sweet. So, if I am not achieving the and very famously Prabhupada quote, Ye anye aravindash vimukta maninaha atvai ashtabhavat abhishuddha buddhayaha aruhya krichrena param padam tataha patanti yataha anatrita yusmadangrayaha. So if one is taking to, I think the shloka is 10 to 31. So 32. It's a very nice verse. So this also says Aruhya Krichrena. Krichrena means with great difficulty. Aruhya, Arohanam is going up. Aruhya Krichrena is going up in the path of yoga. How? By his own endeavor. And what is his attitude? Aravindaksha Vimukta Manina. Right? Vimukta Manina. He's thinking himself as liberated. Right? I'm dreaming that I have woken up. Sometimes we want to go to the restroom. This used to happen when I was small. So when I was 7, 8 years old, I used to think that I've gone to the restroom. In the dream, I used to think, and I used to pass water. And when I passed water, all the water will be in the bed. Because I dreamt that I woke up. Actually, I didn't wake up. Similarly, Brahmaji is telling, Vimukta Maninaha. Some people think that they are liberated. But they still have Avishuddha Buddhayaha. Why Avishuddha Buddhayaha? That buddhi is not coming to your lotus feet. Because the buddhi is not coming to you, it is not arriving at you. The bug doesn't stop at your lotus feet. It is Avishuddha Buddhayaha. It is not dependent on you, the buddhi. It is Avishuddha Buddhayaha. And even if you go Krichrena, even if you go up, so this is the case with even Jnanam. The previous verse I talked about, and this verse I talked about, both of them are talking about the path of yoga and jnana, which requires great austerity. That is why the word that is used is krichrena. Krichrena means with undergoing severe austerities, penances, and hard labor, with great difficulty. Aruhya krichrena. Param pada tataha. Even if you go to a place, param padam tataha, what happens? Patanti yataha. He actually comes down. Why? Adritaha. He doesn't have adharanam. Adrita means respect. To what? Yusmadandrayaha. To your beautiful speech. So, if this is the case with even jnana, then what to talk of karma? Because the karma, kamya karma, nitya karma, naimittika karma, if that does not lead to bhakti, it is shrama eva hi kevalam. Okay? At least, this is fine. But the best way to convince, us to the loftiness of this fact is that what to talk of karma? A very nice verse. I forgot the 1:5:12. The same thing that talks about naishkarmyam api. What we are talking about is karma. But what Bhagavatam says is naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam. If it is devoid, varjitam means it's devoid. Hey, you do karma. Okay, fine. It is achyuta bhava varjitam, it is useless. That is the verse we are seeing right now. Shrama eva hi kevalam. But forget that. I'm talking about naishkarmyam. Naishkarmyam kya hai? What is naishkarmyam? Naishkarmyam is where every activity, Krishna marks up as naishkarmyam and Bhagavad Gita, sarve samarambaha kama sankalpa varjitaha. Sarve samarambaha, yasya tu sarve samarambaha kama sankalpa varjitaha. This is whatever is speaking in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying are useless. Sutta Goswami. Yasya tu sarve samarambaha. So this is basically this is the verse we are talking about, Naishkarmyam, where Krishna is telling, Sarve Samarambaha, all the endeavors is Kama Sankalpa Varjita. Every endeavor that you have, there is no desire in your heart. What a lofty place. Every endeavor that a person is doing in their whole day and night, there is no sankalpa of Kama. Krishna says he is a Panditam Buddha. He is a Pandit. Goswami ji is telling that Naishkarmyam also, if it is Achyuta Bhava Varjitam, if it is without Achyuta Bhava, na shobhate. Shobhate. Jnanam alam niranjanam. This is the case of jnanam, which is alam, which is niranjanam. Nothing more to be desired. This is the name of jnanam. And which is niranjanam. Vrittis. Completely sthapanam, doing sthapanam. If I don't come decorated very nice like that, I won't appear very nice. In this material world, there is anjanam, decoration. But what is the absolute truth in the formless, in the Brahman aspect? It is niranjanam. And even if someone has the jnanam, if it is achyuta bhava varjitam, na shobhate, it doesn't shine. It doesn't shine, shobha. It doesn't appear very beautiful. If that is the case, kutak purah shashvat abhadram ishware na charpitam karma yat api akaranam. If that is the case, what to talk of abhadram, right, which is inauspicious activities? What is inauspicious? Nacharpitam karma. That activity which is not offered to the Lord, yadapi akaranam, we don't have to say anything at all about that activities, which is abhadram, which is inauspicious. Nacharpitam karma, it is not offered to the Lord. What to talk of karma which is not offered to the Lord? It is completely a waste of time compared to if it is Achyuta Bhava Varjitam, it is completely a waste of time. Even Jnanam, even Yogam, which is devoid of Bhakti, is, what is it? It is Nashobhate. Nashobhate Jnanamalam Niranjanam. So we must understand the greatness of Bhakti. We must not think that Bhakti is dependent on Jnana or Vairagya or Karma. No, Bhakti is completely independent. So The other point I wanted to talk about was very nice um, um, explanation that acharyas are giving for api. Before that, I want to complete what Prabhupada is saying. Still here, what we are seeing, right? So Prabhupada is saying in a very nice way that all these karma is about the external body and the mind. This is where our sensations are coming. And Prabhupada is saying the need of the spirit soul that he wants to get the limited sphere of material bondage. This is what he wants. That is why we want always something infinitely. If I have 10 rupees, I want 100 rupees, I want 1,000 rupees, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Or if I have one husband, 3 husbands, if I have one job, now I want 2 jobs, I want 3 jobs. Right? So this desire, where does it come from? There must be some vichar, right? Why do I desire something infinity? If I'm a chief minister, I want to be the prime minister. If I'm Indra, I want to become Brahma. If I'm Brahma, I want to be a Brahma of many lokas. So there is this desire to have everything for the soul. That is what Prabhupada is telling. He wants to possess everything and he wants to get the limited sphere. I want to get something unlimited. I want unlimited food, unlimited sweets. This tendency to be greedy is there in all of us. There. He wants to get out of the covered walls of this body, covered walls of the house. We don't like being in the house for too long. People got depressed in COVID because it is walls. No, I don't want to be in the town also. That's why we go to some other place. Is it not? No, I don't want to be even covered even in my own country. No, I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Europe. Why? Because I don't want to be contained. I want to grow infinitely. Is it not? But I can only afford one European trip in a year. But the desire to grow infinitely is there. This is there. Prabhupada is saying that freedom that you want will not be achieved if you go for a European trip. Will not be achieved, will be very limited because again, it's limited or limited time. The tendency is good. The tendency is natural. But we need to know where to align that tendency to have complete fulfillment. Now that requires some intelligence. But when he meets the complete spirit, the personality of Godhead, and this is what I want to bring highlight here. Very beautiful point, Srila Prabhupada, our dear Prabhupada is saying, there is a dormant affection. The affection is dormant. It is not very manifest. It is dormant. Because it is dormant, it has to be woken up. And because it is dormant, that same affection has to come out somewhere. When it is time for Srishti, the lotus stalk is just sprouting forth and Brahmaji is appearing. Why? Because all the souls, the lotus stalk basically is where all the living entities are actually who are very fruitively intended. They are all struggling. That is what is the lotus stalk. The lotus that Brahmaji is appearing. And these souls are like waiting to perform activities. Waiting to perform activities. And they are like, what do you say? I cannot get in the right word. It's just, they're just splurging out. Okay, they're just coming out because it's inside is there, this tendency to perform activity, material activity is there. To do something and to enjoy something, this karta and bhokta tendency is there. But when this is manifested in matter, it manifests as karma, this, that, many things be karma. So when that is resumed, then it is everything is healthy. So that same spiritual existence is what is manifested through the affection for gross and subtle matter. So this romance with gross matter under the banner of religiosity is what is known as dharma, this, that, which takes so many meanings. Because there is artha and kama involved, moksha becomes dharma. Dharma minus artha and moksha, artha and kama is moksha. Right? In the material sphere, from the negative sphere, when you want to see, I perform some dharma without artha and kama. Because artha and kama is what makes dharma material. Okay? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha, chaturvida purushartha, of course, prema is beyond. So artha and kama makes dharma material. It makes normal dharma, grastha dharma, materialistic grastha dharma. When there is artha, I mean, I have money, I get artha to fulfill certain enjoyment, certain kama. This is what is called as jnana. This leads to jnana. Nishkama karma, which is basically same as dharma, which is without artha and kama, leads to jnana, which is not different from moksha. But when understood positively, the Srimad Bhagavatam introduces this positive spirit of spiritual life. It introduces the positive spirit of spiritual life. So there is a negative aspect of spiritual life where you are asked to not to do this, neti, neti, neti. There is a negative way to understand spiritual life, which is also very interesting. So Saraswati Thakur very famously said, compared to the positive approach, the negative approach, right? Sometimes it is more useful for the negative approach because we are not very intelligent to capture the essence of everything. So Prabhupada used to say, my spiritual master's method is chopping technique. Chopping technique means what is mentioned on what is not helpful for Hari Bhajan, then what is helpful for Hari Bhajan. So this was more or less Prabhupada's greatness also in one sense. Prabhupada in his lectures emphasized more on the negative aspect, and in the purports in the Bhagavatam emphasized more on the positive aspect. Of course, I mean, I cannot make the generalization, but predominantly I'm saying, right? But both of these are important, and both of these are very important. If you simply capture the negative aspect alone and miss the positive aspect, it will appear very discouraging. But if you get the positive aspect without any, appreciation of the negative aspect, then it is to understand both very nicely. But the point I'm trying to make is, so when there is this positive understanding of Krishna consciousness, which Bhagavatam brings forth, because usually religion, when you look at Upanishads, when you look at Dharma Sutras, when you look at many of these scriptures, we usually process it as vidhi nished. Do this, don't do this. Right? This is the way to process, and then at some point you'll be free from all desires, where you will be situated within your Atma. This understanding is what more or less is very prevalent within the Upanishads. And this also comes in the Bhagavad Gita, not to lie, right? Really, yes, like I showed you one verse, right? So the emphasis here is nothing positive in this verse. This verse is a completely negative verse. It is a completely negative, means not negative in a bad way. I'm just saying from a point of negation. Just to give you an example, right? This talks about for whom, yasya, sarve samarambaha, for whom every endeavor is varjitaha. Varjitaha is a negative connotation. It doesn't have kama. So it talks about a person who's realized not what he has, what he doesn't have. What does he not have? Kama sankalpa he does not have. Varjitaha. Kim varjitaha? Kama sankalpa varjitaha. Right? That is the way it is being presented here. And jnana is also presented in that way as a means to kill karma, daddha karmanam. Again, the presentation of something there only to relieve you of something, to negate you of something that you have. What is that? What I have? Karmanam. I have karma. Dagda karmanam. It takes you, it burns that karma. So it's an overall presentation of the absolute truth from a negation standpoint. You understand, right? So Bhagavatam here is saying it's a very positive activity. Vishwaksena Kathasu is a positive activity. It's not presenting the absolute truth as what I should not do. What will go away? No. What I will get. What I will get, I get prema. And what is the means for that prema? The holy name is the means to prema. And the holy name, anyone can chant. Anyone can chant. Anyone can chant. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, even if you chant without diksha, you'll get prema. You don't even need diksha to get prema, chanting the holy name. But though that is theory, usually it is seen, unless one has the association of a pure devotee, the holy name, one cannot surrender to the holy name properly. But realistically speaking, theoretically speaking, it is the holy name can give prema to anyone without diksha. Though diksha is a very, so that there are three things. Okay, there is karma scriptures, and there is pancharatra, and then there is Bhagavatam. So the diksha, whatever we have, is a pancharatric based diksha. So there is Vedic diksha, there is pancharatric diksha, and there is Bhagavad mark. Okay, so Vedic diksha is predominantly based on your birth. Is that whatever you are, you have your body, is who you are more or less, right? You have your body because what you did in your previous life. So the Vedic system places a lot of emphasis on don't touch this, don't do this, don't here, do this. Like and a lot of emphasis on the bodily rules that you have to be very careful of from a point of karma. And the diksha is also based on to encourage your varnashrama dharma. This is the point of Vedic diksha, to train you for performing your varnashrama dharma. This is the point of Vedic diksha. So in Krishna consciousness movement, Gaudiya Vaishnava, predominantly the diksha, I mean, not just Gaudiya Vaishnavism, but across Sri Vaishnava, even Madhva for that matter, the diksha that is given is the Pancharatriki diksha. Narada Pancharatriki diksha. And there also you will see a lot of rules, but that Pancharatriki diksha brings the point that if you are tata diksha vidanena dvijattam jayate nam, just like a bell metal turns into gold, if you are initiated by this mantra, and when we talk about this mantra here, it is not Hare Krishna mantra. There are different mantras, right? Hare Krishna mantra, though we call it mantra, it is actually a nama. Right? It is a nama. I'll tell you where Hare Krishna mantra belongs in this whole scheme of things. And in this Bhagavata, in the Pancharatriki Diksha, the goal, what is the goal? The goal is to perform deity worship. The goal is to perform the activities that are surrounded by the temple. This is the whole point of Pancharatra. Pancharatra is how to follow Ekadashi, how to follow this, how to follow the different rules, and what to take care. This is also needed. Pancharatri mark is also needed. But the Diksha that we have is completely based on Pancharatriki Diksha, right? Deity worship. You can, just to be simplistic, you can understand it as the prerequisite for deity worship, which is based on Pancharatriki. There are other forms of deity worship also, which I'm not going into. There is a deity worship from the Vaikanasa Sutra, right? Which is more Vaikanasika, right? There is Pancharatrika. There are different temples which follow different, rules of Shastra, Agama Shastras. Now, let's talk about Bhagavata Marga. So we talked about Vaidika Marga, which is very strict, very more or less predominantly birth-based. And there is Pancharatriki Marga, which is a little more relaxed, which is based on the potency of the holy name of the Lord, the potency of the, Panchasamskaram. You have your Tilakam, you have your Pundram, you have your Tapam, you have your Nama. and you have a mantram. This way, there is pancha samskara. There are 5 reformatory ceremonies that happen during a Pancharatri Diksha that gives you the power to overcome your past karmic tendencies and make you eligible to worship the Lord in the form of his deities, in the form of this, in the form of that, like that. This is Pancharatri Diksha. And the Bhagavata Marga is where we talk about 2 things predominantly, which is Shravanam and Kirtanam. And the Shravanam and Kirtanam does not require either the Pancharatri Diksha, nor does it require, from a theoretical standpoint, nor does it require the Vedic Diksha. It is not dependent on any of this. Anyone can hear the message of the Lord, anyone can chant the name of the Lord, it will give you effect no matter what. But because someone is in a bodily conception, right, one might not be able to have sufficient faith in this Bhagavata mark. There is also this Pancharatriki mark that is given as a prop to help you come to this platform of Bhagavata mark. But Bhagavata mark by itself does not require any formal initiation to give you the ultimate fruit. But I am putting a but there. What it requires is the Bhagavata mark requires association of a pure devotee in order to give us the ultimate fruit of Krishna consciousness. Okay, the whole potency of Shravanam and Kirtanam. So the reason I'm bringing this point is Krishna is very simple. Krishna is very simple. There are many qualities of Krishna. One of the qualities of Krishna that is very simple. Now, this simplest Krishna is the inner meaning, inner purpose of the whole Vedas. All the karma, all the jnana. I gave you the example of a coconut. I gave you the example of a temple. I gave you the example of, we talked about the example of the husk and the rice. So he's the sweetest part inside the Vedas. His holy name is the sweetest part. His form is the sweetest part. And because Krishna is sweet, the way to achieve him is also very sweet. Because Krishna is simple, the way to achieve him also must be simple. Because anything complex cannot reveal something simple. This is the nature of something spiritual. Advaya Jnana. Advaya Jnana means something that is of the nature of sun. My eyes is of the nature of, is basically the nature of the sun, and that is why it can see the sun. I meant to give this example many, many times. So similarly, whatever is Bhakti must be simple. Of course, it is sublime, but it's very simple. So if we are not able to capture the simple process of Shravanam and Kirtanam, simply glorifying the Lord, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's a very, very simple method. Kim Janmabhi Tribirveha Shaukra Savitra Yagnikaihi Karmabihi Va Trai Proktaha Pumsohi Vibudha Yushaha. What is the use of this life? What is the use of this life which does not give rise to this devotion? What is the use of yoga? What is the use of Sankhya? What is the use of sannyasa? What is the study of the Vedas? Other auspicious tests in which the Lord does not give the realization of himself. Very nice verse. 4:31. Well, very nice verse. Kimva yogena sankhena. What is the use of this yoga or sankhya or nyasa or svadhyaya? There is no use. Na yatratma prado harihi. Atma prado harihi. Hari is ready to give himself to you. Atma prado harihi. What is the use of all this if you have not come to a position where, if you have not come to the position of bhakti? What is this bhakti? In this bhakti, Atma prado harihi. There are 2 ways to see Atma prado harihi. Atma prado harihi means which gives you the ultimate self-interest. Other way of seeing the Atma prado harihi is where Hari himself is giving himself. What is the use of that? What is the use of this? Anything that you are doing, Yogena Sankhya. So this simple Krishna is revealed by this simple process of Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam supersedes all mundane qualifications, mundane prerequisites. and comes to the heart of the matter, right? Which is it? Simply worship Krishna by chanting his holy name. Very simple. Simply chant the holy name of Krishna loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And here is message. That's all. And glorify him with great love, with great prema. So that is the final goal. So there is more I wanted to say, but it is already 10:54. So I'll leave some time for questions, I thought. So I'll end here. If there are any questions to what we just discussed, or comments, or if maybe any corrections, let me know.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanna Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so much, Prabhu. The two questions or two clarifications, Prabhu, from this class. You mentioned about the positive aspect and the negative aspect of Bhagavatam. I could not understand, Prabhuji. You could elaborate a little bit so that I can understand. And the second question is about you mentioned about Pancharatriki Diksha and Bhagavata Diksha, right? So that now, at least my understanding is that during the Harinam Diksha, Prabhupada also introduced the Pancharatriki with the Yajna, right after the Diksha with the spiritual master, and then there is a Yajna after that, right? So, what is the importance, and then how could we understand like what you mentioned to this?
Thank you, Prabhu, for the question. So on the negative and the positive, let me give you an example. So like Srila Prabhupada talked about Krishna Bhakti. So ideally, we would imagine someone talking about Krishna Bhakti as someone splitting Krishna Bhakti as someone talking about Krishna's pastimes from morning to night. What Krishna did in Praja, what Krishna did in Mathura, what Krishna did in Dwaraka. This is what we would usually imagine. So I was reading Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He went to Radha Kund. And he went to Radha Kund and gave a lecture on Ishopanishad. So he gave a lecture on the nectar of instruction, first 3 verses. Why did he do that? Because he wanted to negate a false understanding of bhakti. Okay. So everyone believes that they are knowledgeable. Everyone believes that they are a devotee. Everyone believes that something that is not bhakti as bhakti, something that is not Krishna conscious as Krishna conscious. The very difficult task in this world is to determine what exactly constitutes material and what exactly constitutes spiritual. This divide between this matter and spirit is very difficult to understand, discern. Okay, so a devotee's duty is to identify and point out very explicitly material tendencies that are highlight tendencies that are explicitly material or implicitly material. Okay, they might not appear material so much, and this requires a process of a negation, a preaching from a negation standpoint, from a negation approach. Right? You cannot be aborting your babies and then doing something like that. Right? So both of these are required depending on time, place, and circumstance. An acharya employs, and based on the adhikar he is speaking to, he employs different means. Because Prabhupada was preaching in a Western environment during the 70s, 80s. Prabhupada was emphasized forcing like on this aspect. And right now also there is that need in many spaces and many spheres to emphasize some aspects. And to some other person, you have to again focus on the positive aspect also sufficiently. In this way, there is a balance. So Prabhupada gave Krishna book in the night to highlight the positive aspect. Right? So in this way, there are positive aspects to become attracted to the Lord and also to understand what is false attraction. So that's the answer to your first question. I hope that clarifies.
Yes,
The
Prabhuji.
second question, by the way I understand, I cannot claim to know Prabhupada's intentions. That would be presumptuous. But the way I understand is, previous in Gaudiya Math, actually, there is only one Diksha. There is no Harinam Diksha, and then there is second initiation or something like that, right? So this is something that Prabhupada brought. Okay, so the rules that a devotee brings in, it is like bringing all the spices in the kitchen to make the perfect recipe, perfect tea for the soul, right? The soul is suffering from cough. So sometimes he uses some Ayurvedic ingredients. Sometimes he uses, some Chinese ingredients, right? But ultimately there are so many spices in the kitchen. But ultimately the cold has to be cured, right? So an expert acharya knows exactly how to combine these, different shastras in the right combination to deliver this tonic to the conditioned soul, right? So the purpose of first initiation is for a person who's new to get the association of a pure devotee. This is the way I understand it. I've not heard it from someone, but and there are many opinions on this. So there are as many opinions as people in ISKCON about this, or even more opinions, right, for the same person. But this is my opinion. This is the way I understand it. So the way I understand it is from the point of holy name. Uh, but whatever I'm saying about these different types of Diksha, it is Vedic. I mean, it is Shastra. This is not my opinion. But why Prabhupada did what he did this is my opinion. Now, Srila Prabhupada wanted to bring the association of a pure devotee. So, Srila Prabhupada wanted to bring somehow the association of a pure devotee to this person. Somehow give that opportunity for this new person to surrender to this devotee, the pure devotee. And when this happens, when this person surrenders to the pure devotee through this process of Diksha, he gets the Bhakti Shakti to chant the holy name with great enthusiasm. Okay? And this is a predominantly Bhagavata medicine. Definitely. No doubt. Okay? But of course, the rituals might be Pancharatrika here and there. Yes, granted. Yes, understood. There is Dasya Nama. The Dasya Nama is a Pancharatrika part. Okay. So to get Dasya Nama is one of the 5 samskaras. The Pundam is one samskara. And then there is another which we don't do, which is also Tapam, but instead we have Tilakam, here and here. But there is also Tapam, which means there is a Shanka and Chakra which is embossed, and then they will actually punch it here and there. This is where Sri Vaishnavas do it. And Madhvas also do it actually. Tapta Dharane, they say. Right? Of course, Gaudiya Vaishnavas choose to have it like simply the form of our Tilakam, the Urdhva Puntram. So in this way, there are Pancha Samskaras. There are 5 purificatory ceremonies that happens. So basically, Prabhupada also took that part of Dasinama and put it in the first initiation. The second initiation is meant to actually qualify someone for deity worship, for that are very focused on temple worship, right? This is the point of second initiation, right? So one should not think that second initiation I'll get prema, that first initiation I won't get prema, right? Not like that, right? So the potency of the holy name is even greater than all the Gayatris that we are getting in the second initiation. This is something His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj reiterates again and again, and this is confirmed in the different books from the Acharyas, right? So the potency of the holy name is greater than even all the Gayatris. This is the greatness of the holy name. But the Gayatri is given in order to qualify the person to perform a certain type of upasana. Right? So that much I can say. Okay. Does it make sense? Does it answer? Or it may answer
But no, Prabhuji. The combination of Bhagavata and Pancharatriki, because I was mostly understanding it in this way that because Pancharatriki is certain do's and do nots, right? Continuous.
No, not necessarily. Pancharatriki scriptures contain a lot of descriptions of the holy name of the Lord, glorifications of the devotee, glorifications of the beautiful name of the Lord, the greatness of a process of initiation. And Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami Pad quotes many of these verses. And this is one of the verses I just said, Tata Diksha Vidayana Vijat Pamtayate Nrana. So no, I mean, these are Pancharatrikis are not about do's and don'ts. The Dharma Shastras and the Smriti Shastras, Grihya Sutras, which are part of the, the Vedika canon, they are more focused on do's and don'ts and the prayaschitta one has to perform. If you go outside the country, what should you do? If you marry someone else outside of your own varna, what you should do? All of these things. Manusmritis, the Smriti Shastras are more focused on the do's and don'ts that one has to observe in the lane of karma marg. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Does someone have any other questions? Okay, no one has any questions. Thank you, devotees. Thank you for your association.